employees go missing, $135,000 gone to waste. I'm one of the most hated indie game developers that are still making games today. I'm Wicked Wiz.
Hold up.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
If you've recently been browsing the YouTube trending tab, you'll probably be aware of a content creator known as the Wicked Wiz, a recent game review channel that's blown up out of the water, with his what went wrong game review videos blowing up one by one. Now, when it comes to gameplay usage, the usage of it in commentary is nothing new after all, as many people are quote-unquote named as Leafy clones for using it in the background.
Group 3 is the biggest. That's the Leafy clones, aka people who use gameplay.
When they discuss trending topics,
We get this janky guy coming in Leafy clone style.
or issues.
So who's Harley TBS anyway? Well, it's just another commentary channel who makes videos on trendy topics with little to no effort gameplay footage in the background. So just another Leafy clone, you can say.
Which I don't think is necessarily the correct opinion. Now, originally I wasn't planning to do a video about this guy or the topics related to the videos he makes, knowing that he's already made a video discussing what exactly he thinks went well, and has also opened up new ideas for his audience viewers, since I can comment on specific topics and video concepts that he's done, such as the just some guy without a mustache and YouTube commenting saga. So yes, we will be including heavy moments from the Wicked Wiz channel. We will be doing it in more of a response and also as a comment and critique way of doing so. Anyways, let's get this video started. Now, when you compare Wicked Wiz's blow up to a channel known as TUV, unlike TUV's channel where TUV had essentially repeatedly rebranded whilst going through multiple series of video related topics, niches, and genres on one consistent channel, Wicked Wiz's channel, however, is rather different, as unlike TUV, Wiz went from creating multiple different channels across his YouTube and content generation history. Unlike a similar YouTuber known as BrentTV, where he openly admitted this in his video where he thanks his audience for helping him reach 1 million subscribers.
I've been trying since the age of 9. I have gone through so many different YouTube channels, and here we are with BrentTV, and I did it!
Now, we know that in Wicked Wiz's original video, he originally states that he had indeed created a channel back during the Modern Warfare days and when Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 was a trending topic.
I actually had a YouTube channel back in the whole MW2 days, where making cringy montages were the popular thing.
This might mean that the channel was created aka in 2009, because that was the year when Modern Warfare was dominating Google search trends and also when it was published. Now, unfortunately, the Wayback Machine did not show up this channel or anything of that sort, probably because he had deleted it. However, when we look up Wicked Wiz's channel URL into the Wayback Machine as well, we also end up finding another channel which was called Hadi Hadar, which essentially the channel is obviously Wicked Wiz's alternative channel due to the fact that there is a very obvious Wicked Wiz banner in the channel art and thumbnail, and also due to the fact that there is a very obvious Wales flag in the channel banner. For those who aren't aware, Wales is basically a nation within the United Kingdom and is also of course, soccer team. And given that the Wicked Wiz himself has openly stated that he is indeed British, we can indeed notify that this is probably a Wicked Wiz alternative channel. This channel is still up on the YouTube homepage, meaning if you search it up right now, it will show up on the YouTube tab. I do not know why Wicked Wiz chose to not delete or private this channel. Maybe he just lost the password or something, or maybe he just wanted it to be like a way for him to like remember where he used to be or something like that, who knows. Now, why is this important, you might ask? Well, this not only strengthened Wicked Wiz's point, but it also ends up giving somewhat of a sense of relatability to what he's trying to convey, because Wicked Wiz during his response says that back in the day on his older channels, he had little to no editing tips or qualities and made god-awful, horrible videos.
You see, everybody else doing it back then had these capture cards, they also had access to editing software, and they could make pretty good videos. I didn't have any of that. In fact, I only just recently got access to the internet. And to be fair, my videos were absolute crap, but it meant a lot to me.
And when you look at the channel or overall way it's been designed, designed, as the banner isn't even properly created correctly, and all the other previous videos are removed and deleted, you can actually see the point he's trying to make, and that he actually is saying this from a genuine point of care, and he actually isn't just saying this as a fake image or a way to get easy brownie points. Because no matter what sub count or what follower count you have, we've all had that moment where we've looked back at past videos we've made and absolutely cringed at them and just thought, God, why did I ever think that this was a good video? Another relatable point that the Wicked Wiz brings up in his video is the concept of essentially getting his channel exposed by a random friend during a tech IT session.
I'll never forget the utter embarrassment where a kid that I thought was my friend showed the whole class in an IT session my videos. With my videos being the laughing stock of the day, I took it all to heart and I just shut down the channel.
It's basically whenever you're promoting your videos or getting them out there, your friends or people close to you will sometimes pick on you or, you know, basically say your videos are terrible.
I wake up in the middle of the night to my phone just constantly vibrating with all of these messages from people I went to high school with, people I've met maybe once or twice, all on Facebook, all on, you know, Skype, Twitter, just everywhere, of like, hey, you're pretty cringe. Until even to this day, people I know message me like with the video, make fun of me, and it was awful.
And that's the reality of the internet. Sometimes strangers are a lot more nicer to you and your content than actual people you know in real life are. So the internet sometimes is two-faced. Sometimes anonymous people are the worst, but other times strangers are indeed somewhat supportive. Anyways, now that that's taken care of, let's move on to the just some guy without a mustache in YouTube commenting saga. So originally at the beginning, this is originally what made me want to sort of compile the story for the Wicked Wiz's rapid successful rise. Not just because of the fact that I could once again add it to another collection of my previous video projects, part of the Oreo Man 555 canon, but it also showed me how he could essentially take this simple, rather trending topic into a booming video and make it something that was pretty intuitive and deeper than it really should. Essentially, what I was surprised of was the points that he brought up in the video aged way better than it should have. It aged like fine wine, surprisingly. Anyways, this video will be broken down into two parts. Half of it will essentially be responding to some of the points in Wicked Wiz's just some guy without a mustache videos, and the other half will essentially be showing you why exactly this video was so important to Wicked Wiz's successful stardom. We'll start off with the response section first. Now, although Wicked Wiz has made 2 videos on this subject, the first video is basic filler and speculation on who exactly just some guy without a mustache might be, which basically isn't really much to really respond to. It's just stating this, and that. The second video has a bit more parts that I can add on and also critique, so we will focus on the second video first.
Finally, I have it. Everywhere I go, I see his face. You've seen him, haven't you? Well, actually, yeah, it turns out a lot of people have seen this guy. And he also left a nice compliment as well. Obviously, that's just one example.
Now, one thing that I've specifically seen is that usually when people in this community make videos about him, he'll usually praise something about the editing whilst calling the video good. He did this on Wicked Wiz's first video, and then he also did it on my second video talking about him as well. This is something that I've seen happening so far when it comes to making videos surrounding him.
Now, I spent hours, surprisingly enough, I did actually spend hours trying to figure out how people actually rank within comment sections. I came across this study here from Stack Overflow, which seems to be quite compelling. Now, it's essentially a study done within the comment section.
Okay, so this comment formula that he brings up is relatively true for everything except for the music video genre, because of course people can simply just comment stuff like, it's crazy to see how people are listening to X, this and that, and then, you know, people will just show up and like the comment anyway. So this is true for everything except for the music video genre. But yeah, aside from that, this formula is pretty accurate.
For your comments to rank in a certain way, it all depends on different things. The like to dislike ratio, every comment you've ever made has a like to dislike ratio. And although you can't really see the dislikes, you can bet your bottom dollar that you get some. If you go out there making dumb comments and have a terrible history where most of your comments have a negative like to dislike ratio, by default, you're just gonna rank a lot lower in general.
Okay, so in response to the whole like to dislike ratio part and the whole reputation thing in the comments, I'm gonna respond to this part due to the fact that people have asked this question in my own videos themselves, and also I can somewhat prove this is indeed true. So basically, this one verified spam commenter got exposed for being basically a groomer, scammer, a literal creep against women. People have made multiple videos about it. I have made videos about the guy myself. So basically, he got his reputation ruined, and basically people started immediately spam disliking all of his copied comments and everything of that sort. So I can say, leaving a dislike on a bad comment does go a long way. So yeah, keep disliking spam comments, because yeah, it does work.
And believe it or not, who posted it? This is why you see a lot of famous YouTubers who, when they post somewhere, always seem to end up really high up in the comment section. It's because people recognize them within those communities, they like their comment, and they respond.
Okay, so in terms of the part where he rambles about who posted it, I can indeed prove that people who have bigger subscriber counts and audiences do get ranked higher in the comment section. How do I know this? Well, it's pretty simple. It's because if you check your YouTube Studio, and essentially YouTube Studio has this thing called notifications. So if you click important notifications instead of all notifications, only people who are 10k subs or more get notifications from you in the YouTube Studio app. So it's pretty obvious that yes, commenters with 10k subs or more by default will rank automatically higher in the YouTube app because YouTube Studio treats them as special comments. I don't really understand why YouTube does this, given that they've changed their algorithm ever since 2018 to essentially say that, guys, subscribers do not matter on the algorithm anymore. It's all about content you produce. So I don't know why YouTube can't just do the same thing comment-wise.
I mean, I've been reading all of your comments. There were a few theories going around. One of the most common theories is that just some guy or anybody else are simply bots.
Although it's pretty evident that he is indeed not a bot, another interesting trend that I've seen so far in all of his comments are that whenever he leaves a comment, no matter the number of replies or the type of people that reply to him, whether it be a nice comment, a nice reply, a mean reply, or anything of that sort, he never replies to any of the people in that said comment. So that's kind of interesting because it's like he's everywhere, but he never responds to anyone that basically tries to talk to him, which is kind of interesting.
Is he not just a he, but a whole group of people? One of the funniest theories that I honestly believed at first, until I really thought it through, was the fact that it was a group of people sharing the same account. A large group of friends, or cult members, who all abide by the same rules.
I mean, I highly doubt a 200k plus subscriber account will give random people access to such account, given that, like, they could easily start commenting stupid stuff and start replying like the dumbest things ever. Not to mention the recent short hacking situation that happened because the dude gave permission to someone else to basically become an editor for the channel. I highly doubt Mustache guy would want something like that to happen to him. So yeah, I highly doubt it's anything more than just one person.
But Wiz, how come I see him everywhere? Because it seems like everywhere you go, you see his comments. Is he some no-life who keeps notifications turned on?
Yes, indeed, Mr. Wiz. Just some guy without a mustache is a no-life with notifications on. Now, however, he probably isn't the only YouTuber that really does this. I've experienced other content creators such as TUV. Now, I wouldn't really consider these YouTubers to be no-lives. It's kind of cool to see them comment on videos within the community. It's kind of appreciative, and it's also really cool because it shows that these people actually care about their fans and their supporters. Because I remember, like, making a video involving TUV where I didn't talk about TUV, but I basically credited him for inspiration at like the first 5 seconds of intro of the video, and I was actually really shocked that he showed up because it's not like the video was popular or booming or anything of that sort. The video had like 60 views in under like less than a day, and then he instantly showed up at like the top comment on the video, and I was really shocked that he was there. And like I made like an Instagram post about it as well, and he actually showed up there as well. So it was really cool to see him there in the comments. So for all the people that, you know, leave comments and engage with their community, you guys are awesome. It shows that you care about your fans, because what person would take the time out of their day to watch a video with like 60 views in less than a day and leave a comment saying awesome video? So to all the people that do that, you guys are great. Anyways, now that that's taken care of, let's respond to the first video that the Wicked Wiz made.
Don't forget to speak very, very clearly.
Aside from the first video being basic filler on who just some guy without a mustache is, there is one key point which basically shows you how to increase engagement within a video, but also make sure that your fan base watching sees you as more of a person than rather the content accent. Now what I mean by that is in the first video, Wicked Wiz proceeds to make degrading comments about their British accent.
He mentions my accent that I made self-degrading comments about. He loves the anime Gintama. I pronounced that incredibly wrong. I have the dodgiest English accent I think known to man, honestly.
British people be like, hey, anyone got a seg, eh?
What?
Well done, ladies and gentlemen.
What are you on about?
Whether or not Wicked Wiz did this on purpose or unintentionally, this point is important for two main reasons. Firstly, it goes back to what we said before about the internet being relatively two-faced, and that sometimes making yourself the butt of a joke by presenting your specific insecurities to an audience watching isn't always a relatively bad thing, because after all, as shown in the video, this led to a more positive impact on the audience watching, but it also led to more positive engagement and interactions within Wiz's comment section, as not only did just some guy without a mustache, but other commenters alike started to comment about how Wiz shouldn't be ashamed of their accent as well, which is of course not only good for the YouTube algorithm itself, but it also shows the audience watching that you, the creator, are more relatable on a rather personal basis, which helps the audience watch more of your content for who you are and not just the topics you discuss.
Of course, implement your personality. I didn't want people to subscribe just because of the topics. I wanted them to stay because, oh, this kid's actually funny, let me go follow him on Instagram. Safe to say, I think it's working.
Now, the concept isn't necessarily something that the Wicked Wiz came up with originally, as of course other YouTubers, for example, such as Rebecca Parham.
You wanna know who proved my demon wrong? You guys. The first time I wanted to upload a live action video to this channel, my demon told me that you would all hate me, that you would all unsubscribe, that all the comments would be about how fat and ugly I am, that no one would listen to what I had to say. And boy, did you guys prove my demon wrong. I'm done listening to the demon. I want to listen to the angel.
And even other smaller YouTubers. For example, in this tech tutorial video, this guy proceeds to do the same thing as Wicked Wiz by making rather negative comments about his own accent as well.
Recording a very good audio is actually vital for your success as a content creator, okay? You see, people can forgive a bad quality video, people can forgive the fact that you have a poor accent just like my own, but what people cannot forgive is the fact that they can't hear you.
Which then led to the exact same outcome, with many people in the comment section proceeding to encourage him to not be ashamed of his accent as well. I myself even accidentally stumbled across this phenomenon where in my second Just Some Guy Without a Mustache video, I basically said this. Now, channel management isn't necessarily a bad thing. I myself have my own parents as channel managers because they keep track of the revenue and whatever this channel makes, because of course I am under 18, so they manage that. Which then indirectly led me to notice that some people were actually pointing out certain appreciation for it in the comment section, which came to me as a relatively new and somewhat important information on my own behalf. So in reality, sometimes as a creator, if your intention is to be more relatable and understandable towards your audience, it isn't always necessarily a bad thing to project certain insecurities or sometimes make yourself the butt of an aforementioned joke. Anyways, let's move on to the final section of Wicked Wiz's blow up.
What went right in the mirror? I just glanced.
Now, when it came to the proper analysis of Wicked Wiz's channel dating even before the popular and well-known What Went Wrong series blow up, one simple but easily reproducible factor that I saw on Wicked Wiz's channel was Wiz's earliest popular videos consisting of rather controversial but debatable figures like Matthew Santoro and well-known talk show host James Corden.
Talking about the fall of Matthew Santoro and eventually James Corden, of all people.
Now, aside from all of these videos being proper examples of trend jacking, there is one theme that seems to be reoccurring in every single factor, which is that regardless of who Wiz seems to talk about, Wiz proceeds to relatively add a substantial amount of critique, but at the same time proceeds to give relative praise and compliments towards specific creators discussed in previous videos, and acknowledges that certain creators Wiz has criticized in the past have indeed shown somewhat positive reform and development.
Firstly, I gave my final thoughts on the whole Matthew Santoro situation. If you didn't know, for a time he was being quite toxic on Twitch, acting very childish, and he was called out for this within the Dead by Daylight community. But from what I hear now, he's doing much better and has patched things up with other streamers. I honestly wish him the best, and I hope he figures things out with his YouTube channel.
Wiz then indirectly reveals to the audience that his ultimate goal is to be relatively neutral by essentially opening up to the audience about a past video that Wiz Wiz is unlisted due to the belief that the video had painted the person criticized in too much of a negative matter and wasn't relatively neutral.
There was also this unlisted video that gained a lot of views. It's the video about the green hoodie guy that got told to be quiet at a speedrunning event. I did a pretty terrible job because this video only brings up the negatives and doesn't seek to find any positives. All it did was shine light on someone who was clearly trying to get back on their feet.
But also to show the audience members watching that criticism is indeed welcome by opening up the video and essentially thanking various audience members for giving constructive criticism.
But before any of that, thank you. All the nice comments, all the genuinely good constructive criticism.
Overall, I think having this kind of mindset perfectly explains why the Wicked Wiz's channel did so well, because if you are able to do all of these factors, aka properly looking at dramas neutrally, indirectly when your name gets brought up within the community, people will not only want to support you more often, but will also lead to you being seen as more credible indirectly. Anyways, now that that's been taken care of, we shall address the What Went Wrong official series. Now, overall, aside from Mr. Wiz's What Went Wrong series being a rather genius concept of creating YouTube view loops for the aforementioned algorithm, which is openly admitted by Wiz in the What Went Well video series,
after watching one, I would get a recommendation for another. Then I'd watch another and the same thing would happen. So it became clear to me that I needed to take note, as this is how you grow an audience. And for me, all it took was for one video to blow up. And just as I suspected, so did all the other videos with the same thumbnail and same title. This is how YouTube works. Once you figure out what works for you, you need to stick with it. So if you couldn't tell already, the future of this channel is going to consist largely of a lot more what went wrong videos, what we actually care about. That's things within the gaming industry.
Alongside the aiding support of 10 million subscriber YouTuber MoistCritikal, who reacted to the video publicly on his Twitch stream. Now when it comes to the debate of whether or not reaction channels are necessarily beneficial to the creators, Reacted has of course always been a controversial debate, but that'll be for another video and it isn't something that we are here to discuss. Now overall, if a big YouTuber like MoistCritikal reacts to your content, regardless of what it is, at the end of the day, you're gonna receive indirect traction no matter what, because at the end of the day, all publicity is good publicity, as they say, unless of course you're Amber Heard and Charlie's reacting to the amount of utterly ridiculous lies coming out of your mouth during the courthouse.
You call him a sellout, don't you?
I was expressing frustration about his criticism of my career and how many problems that caused within the dynamic of our relationship. Yes, I just disagree.
Right, Miss Heard? You called him a sellout, right, Miss Heard?
I called him a lot of ugly things.
And a joke.
What have you done, officer? In the name of justice, you brought nothing but pain.
Now, whilst these two factors did play some relatively easy growth at the beginning, I don't really think they necessarily played anything that big into the rapid successful stardom of the What Went Wrong video series, as of course, unlike other big YouTubers out there such as TUV and Patrick CC, where Critikal posted the reaction publicly on his YouTube channel, which gave them an even larger indirect boost of viewers and subscribers. When checking Wicked Wiz's social blade during when Critikal made the reaction, there isn't really that much data that spiked or unproportionate when compared to a YouTuber like TUV, who saw a rather out of the ordinary spike in viewership versus subscribers when Charlie chose to react to TUV's TikTok iceberg video during January 2022, and proceeded to post it on the MoistCritikal YouTube channel, which of course was a lot more beneficial towards TUV's growth on the YouTube algorithm. There is one last key detail that Wiz brings up, which I think is somewhat phenomenal information when it comes to relative advice for smaller creators, which is of course when Wiz lets the audience know that despite the What Went Wrong series being a major takeoff for this channel, Wiz indirectly somewhat teaches the audience that it's okay to experiment with the content that you make.
There are many challenges, but the hardest one for me was trying to figure out what kind of content makes me feel happy that other people enjoy. The one big takeaway from all of this is that when you're making content, it's okay to experiment with a bunch of different things.
And that sometimes things don't work out as they expect. As shown during the middle segment of the What Went Well video, Wiz actually states how at the beginning, when Wiz was making the What Went Wrong video series, Wiz didn't do it because of extra views or clicks.
For once, I would commit to a series and stick to it. I decided to execute the plan that I've been working on in the background, where I explored a game that I supported financially and gave an overview of what went wrong with that game. This video right here is the most fun I've had on this platform in a long time. I didn't care if it got any views.
It was later revealed that Wiz was actually losing subscribers at the start.
In fact, I started off with negative subscribers after posting it, but that didn't matter. For once, I would commit to a series and stick to it.
Now, I think for the Wicked Wiz to say something like this is not only a great message to give to smaller creators, but it also should show people that at the end of the day, you shouldn't do YouTube or make specific videos because of a strong expectation for views or quick fame, as of course this will only make the struggle to gain an audience 100 times harder than it already will be. Another thing that this essentially shows creators is that just because a video series doesn't instantly do well doesn't mean you should give up at all, which is actually somewhat of an important stance that a lot of algorithm growing based tip channels will try and educate their audience to understand.
Now, I'm not saying search is dead or not to do it, but let's not ignore the two elephants in the room though. Firstly, if I'd not found this gap in the research phase, then this would not have happened as fast. But then again, that's why you should do the research, right? But also, YouTube's just not a level playing field. But most importantly, if you want to give your channel the best fighting chance possible of doing something like this, then you need to learn to make the best videos you can.
Now, when it comes to discussing some of the supporting factors that help towards boosting the Wicked Wiz's What Went Wrong series, there are a couple that do indeed stand out, such as the usage of mixing in various audience topics and genres whilst taking certain concepts that other creators have properly reconstructed. This is very evident due to the fact the original concept of Wicked Wiz's What Went Wrong series isn't anything out of the ordinary, as of course, if one is relatively familiar with the film/movie related commentary genre, you'll see the whole concept of the What Went Wrong series being used to commonly critique and break down popular shows from the likes of Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and even Disney XD, with Star vs. the Forces of Evil being a commonly dominant predecessor of the year 2020, even before the Wicked Wiz officially started to gain motivation for taking YouTube content creation a lot more seriously.
I think the best place to start is an answer as to why I wanted to do YouTube in the first place. The short answer is I had a bit of free time and I've always wanted to do it. In fact, I've always wanted to do YouTube since I was at school. In 2020, we of course had the pandemic, which threw the whole world into lockdown. And with a bunch of free time as well as a bit of money on the side, I thought this would be the best time for me to start YouTube, change my content strategy. And this now brings us onto this channel, the Wicked Wiz channel.
Another recreation of ideas that you'll see with Wiz's What Went Wrong series is the relatively obvious recreation of many commentary channels, especially those most commonly known for creating various rise and fall style related videos, which is something that Wiz reveals in the What Went Well video.
The goal from the start before it evolved into what it is today was purely to make content. However, instead of gaming content, I wanted to try my hand at something else. I was watching a lot of rise and fall channels at the time, a lot of drama about specific topics, so I gained inspiration from that kind of content. So I decided to leave the gaming in the background and talk about topics that were on my mind.
Now, although I'm not exactly sure which content creators Wiz had in mind when it came to the inspiration of the What Went Wrong series, when we look at various other popular rise and fall channels and of course game review channels, it's clearly evident that there was indeed some inspiration taken from both rise and fall related channels Sunny V2, where of course when relatively looking at the various strings of videos Sunny's made, one can clearly see that the What Went Wrong series titles were clearly inspired from Sunny V2's previous content, which discussed relatively big figures such as College Humor and Epic Mealtime, which were all made even before the official What Went Wrong series was started. Now, alongside that, you'll also see the thumbnails for this video series are clear inspirations from gaming channel Iron Pineapple's Souls-like Games You Never Heard Of series, which you can clearly see the evident visible negative Steam reviews and giant caricatures in Wiz's thumbnails, being an obvious inspirational recreation of Iron Pineapple's video series. Now, is there anything wrong with the Wicked Wiz doing this? Well, not really. I mean, to be completely fair about it, although there is indeed some pretty big concepts concepts taken from both Sunny V2 and Iron Pineapple's channels, it's not like Wiz is pulling an A4 or Stokes twins in any way, shape, or form. And if anything, this concept of creatively mixing in audience genres and niches isn't anything out of the ordinary or new, as of course when it comes to YouTube scenes, especially in commentary, it's relatively considered okay to do so as long as proper credit is rightfully given, and is something that many algorithm-related channels have openly stated is the right way to go.
So let's start with the first secret, harnessing other people's talents to quickly make your videos more creative. Also, how I recently got Morgan Freeman to do a voiceover in my video, and in truth, it was this dude on Fiverr. I sent him a script, he recorded it, and then he sent it back to me the next day, and that was it. Easy. I've also had some jingles made here too. This awesome lady sings anything I ask, which resulted in way more comments, which will bring in more likes, subscribers, which takes me on to the next thing I don't really want to tell you, but find creative borrowing, or I guess inspirations. If you're listening to a podcast and someone comes up with an amazing metaphor, bag it. TikTok as well is just an amazing platform because of the way people can hook you in an instant. Even the editing tricks are something that you can just nick.
All in all, if anything, I believe making this well thought out breakdown of Wicked Wiz's blow up has not only helped me realize how truly genius and actually well thought out Wiz's YouTube video making strategy and plan for officially blowing up really was, but it also showed me that Wiz definitely is a lot more smarter than what people should be giving Wiz credit for. Anyways, that's gonna conclude this video. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you want a part 2 to the Wicked Wiz saga, and if the Wicked Wiz sees this video, feel free to comment, clarify, or critique any point made in the video. But anyways, with that being said, see y'all later.